Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Alex's After Art Show. Today we are doing Sabretooth. I forgot who we were doing. We're doing Sabretooth today on the art show as part of the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 mural. God, I really got to start working on cleaning up these intros at some point because I don't know how many of these weird, awkward things I can take. But in theory, this might be quick. I don't know. I always say that, really. But rare is it true. And yeah, never has that been more ambiguous than today when we're doing Sabretooth, a character. Yeah, who. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, whether this is quick or not. I'll just roll the intro. Alright. So, we're back. And yeah, I don't even know why I bother leaving some of these characters on before we start. Because realistically, I'm just going to turn them all off anyways. And yeah, Sabretooth actually kind of small the way that I've drawn him this time. And I'll explain that in just a minute. Well, I'll explain it right now actually. I don't know why I said I'd do it in a minute. I'll just do it now. But yeah, let's zoom in a little bit. And I'll show you. Yeah, he's in a little squatted pose because I wanted his pose to be similar to Wolverine's, and also I needed him to not take up a huge amount of space because, as you can see, if I had made him full size, he would have been bigger than he would have covered more space than Blackheart because he's supposed to be about roughly the same size as Colossus, if not slightly bigger. Yeah, I wanted him to be slightly bigger than Colossus. And yeah, this was one of those poses for this. Yeah, because if you'll remember correctly, if you watched the first one of these, whenever it was Ryu, the whole goal of these was to largely start doing poses which I did mostly by hand. And Sabretooth is one of those ones which was, I believe, mostly by hand because, I mean, it's hard to find a picture of someone doing this pose. So, yeah. And this was the kind of thing that I wanted, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to do most of this by hand. I think I did have reference. I did. But I don't know what that reference was, and I'm not gonna pull it up now because it was probably, in some respect, based on a stock photo. And those people are litigious, so I don't wanna take any risks on that regard. Not to say that, not to say that enough people will watch this that I have to really worry about litigation from a stock photo company. But I mean, you never know. It's worth being diligent about because in the future that could bite me in the ass. But yeah, I'm not gonna have as much DIY work to do on this like I did on Blackheart and Charlie. But I'm still going to have a little bit of work to do, I think, on this arm, because this arm's looking a little weird to me. I think it's mostly the hand. I think I'm gonna need to make this thumb go up, because for some reason he's doing like this. You can even see it looks weird whenever I do it. That's just because I have weird hands, but it should be more like this. If I can get the goddamn camera. It should be more like this, something more like that. Not this that he's doing currently, where he's doing that trick that you do with your thumb. Yeah, I don't know about that. This hand looks fine, but this one's just a little weird. Yeah, like I said, this one might be quick, it might not, because the hair on Sabretooth is a problem. It's proven tricky in the past because I have drawn Sabretooth before, not on the show, but I have drawn it before, and the hair always proves tricky. And also, as you can see, there's a lot of mess to his hair. And then there's also the fur. So yeah, there's a particular piece of art that this is similar to. Let me pull up my reference and then I'll remember. It is his image from X-Men vs. Street Fighter, I believe, that this is like sort of based on. It's somewhere between his X-Men vs. Street Fighter and his Marvel vs. Capcom 2 art. Because in his Marvel vs. Capcom 2 art, he's stood up fully and he's kind of like flexing out like that. He's flexing out his chest and all this. So, but in the X-Men vs. Street Fighter one, he's kind of like hunched in like that. So it's kind of slightly somewhere between that, where his arms are out, but he's low. So it's yeah, it's somewhere between that. Yeah, I think that's all I needed to briefly go over. But yeah, I think we're probably good to start now. And yeah, like I say, this might be quick, it might not. But I suppose we shall see. We'll find out soon enough anyways. But yeah, anyways, I will be back once I decide I'm back, I guess. I was gonna say once I've done the details, but in the event that that takes an obscene amount of time, I might be back earlier. But anyways, I will be back at some point. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. That was our details. We're getting to that point where the light level is getting a little lower, even though the actual light in here isn't too bad. It's just as the monitor picks it up. It's not amazing. It doesn't help that I'm underlit from a tablet here either. So, yeah. Yeah, no, so with this I made a few adjustments to his hands. Not a huge amount of them, because I do actually kind of like the pose as it stands. But with this hand I just had to bring up the thumb a little bit, so it's less of this and now it's this. So that's really the only difference. His thumb is slightly higher. But his arms do look a bit flat. His forearms are a little flat, which I don't really know how I would fix. There's certainly a way, but I'm too lazy to find it out now. But yeah. So what else need I bring up here? Yeah, I changed his feet slightly. I changed what the shape of his boots are. Because I mean, technically they're boots, even though they're built into the costume. Yeah, what else was there? I mean, I already covered most of it, but yeah, I mean, I suppose the hair, as you probably saw, was an enormous time sink. That took quite a while to do. It was, I think, an hour before I was done with his head, and we're currently an hour and a half of this recording, so you know, we're yeah, we're getting there in terms of the time. Because yeah, we're already at an hour and a half, and I've only just finished the details. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, I took a few sly breaks during that. You may have noticed. I doubt it though, because I was in the sped up dimension for the whole thing. But yeah, yeah, I think that's it. Really, the dots shouldn't take very long because realistically, it's the shorter of this. It's the shorter part of this, and yeah, I mean we're already over the big part because I mean we're done with the dots, and the dots is not the dots. We're done with the details, and that's the only really transformative part of this. But yeah, the dots and the colors shouldn't be too hard. So yeah, I'll just start the dots, and then I'll be back once I'm done. And there's a good chance that the lighting might change during that situation, but we'll see, I suppose. Okay, that is our dots done, and yes, I took another coy little break there and turned on a light because it is now necessary. Ooh, excuse me. But yeah, now it is time for the colors, so I will get all this stuff ready. I think I'm going to steal a skin tone from another character, but the big question is whose skin tone will Sabretooth spontaneously steal. But first things first, I gotta turn on the background, so brace yourself. Okay, now I need a skin tone. Whose skin tone should I take? I only really have to do a tiny bit of skin, so it doesn't matter too much. What about Wolverine's skin tone? I don't think I've reused that one. Let's try this. I don't think I've reused this skin tone. I'm going to reuse Wolverine's skin tone to make it slightly darker. Slightly, yeah, more on the orange scale. Alright, let's try that. Let's try that. Anyways, right, I will start here and then I'll be back once I'm done with the colours. So. Okay, so that is our colours done. Yeah, I feel like there was something I was going to say, but I forgot what it was now. Yeah, I mean, it is 40%, isn't it? Yes, it is 40%. I just had to check that there. Yeah, I mean, stuff like the soles of his boots aren't coloured in game, I don't think. I'm fairly certain they're just the same as his core kind of tan yellow, which is much more orange on screen. Well, on the computer monitor, anyways. On the tablet, it's still kind of yellow. Not changing it now because I've already gone through the effort of merging the layers and everything. But Yeah, it was much yellower, but I had to change it because I thought it was too similar to his hair color. Even though they don't actually touch on any side, so it wouldn't really make a difference. But just wanted to change it to make sure it didn't look too similar. Anyways, I'll grab these shading colors, and then we will do the shading. But yeah, stuff like yeah, coloring the fur is a bit of a pain because obviously it's not. A lot of these lines don't have definite ends to them, so it's just a bit of a pain. But yeah, and yeah, like I say, the bottoms of his feet don't have color on them in the original. Well, or in the game they do, but it's just not a soul. So yeah. Anyways, I will do this shading and then I'll be back and we will do the light line and that will be us. So, anyways. Okay, so that is our shading done. So now all we've got to do is the light line, and that is us. And that shouldn't take too long, I don't think. Should be reasonably quick. Yeah, this one, yeah, been pretty long. Well, I say long, it's been about the usual 2.5 hours is what we're sitting at right now. It'll be about another 10 minutes, and then that'll be us, I think. Something like that. So, anyways, I will do this light line and that'll be us. Okay. Okay, that is our light line done, which means that is us done. That is Sabretooth finished. So, alright, I will zoom out, and he's going to be small, so boom, yep, he's small. And then I'm going to turn off the background, so brace yourself. Bam. There's our background gone. And so we're going to start turning on all the other characters, so that all this lines up. And this is where the capture slows down a little bit. Jeez, excuse me. This should be character 44, I think. I'm gonna have to think about this in a second. I'll have to figure it out in a minute, because I don't honestly remember how many there are so far. So yeah, let me count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So yeah, 44. Character 44. Which means next time we're doing... I believe next time we're doing Dalzin. I think he's next. We're doing Dalzin, and yeah, I think yeah, he's next. So we're really in the final stretch here, because we've only got what, 6 more Capcom characters, and most about half of those are going to be quick ones. However, almost all the Marvel ones after this are going to be really long. So that is yeah, that's what we've got at the moment. Is yeah, next is Dalzin, and that is probably going to be a long one, I would say. We can't fit all the characters in that size anymore, so now this is basically the full screen now, and that's yeah, that's where we're at. But yeah, if you enjoyed, I'll just do our outro, I believe, at this point. Yeah, the colors are starting to become a little bit more diverse as we reach the ends. because yeah, and during this kind of section here of the Marvel cards, it's all very green. There's a lot of heavy greens over here as well. But yeah, it's definitely colorful, and whenever the gradient map goes on, it should kind of help to disperse that a little bit, so it won't be quite so kind of all over the place. Because yeah, the heavy greens are the ones which are probably going to get muted a lot by the gradient map. Because what I'm thinking of in terms of our colors to the gradient map are probably going to be very red, very brown, kind of yellowy colors. Very autumnal is what I'm thinking of. Primarily because that's how they color graded it for the, or yeah, that's the kind of color grade that you see on a lot of the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 art. So that is what I will go with. But yeah, I'll do our outro and that'll be us. So, if you like the video, do what you normally do, whether that be liking it or not. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me that much. But if you would like to like the video, I would certainly appreciate that. Same deal if you want to subscribe, go for it. The button's there, you know where it is. And if you don't do it, oh well, I don't mind. And yeah, if you decide to watch the next video, I'll see you next time. So yeah, that is us. So I'll just say goodbye, and that'll be it. So, did the very exaggerated sleeves thing again, which I've just started doing now. Anyways, yeah. Bye-bye.